Dana?
Oh, yes.
And Riley, if your app isn't working, you can look up here and use mine. Did you guys get a chance to read scene 1 of Act 1 on your app for the homework? Well, you didn't because your app wasn't working. Okay. That shouldn't hold you back today, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is listen to the prologue of Romeo and Juliet by the chorus. Okay, remember we talked a little bit on Friday about the chorus, what they do in the play. Let's make sure everyone's on the right page. So if you just hit on your app the play.
What's it called again?
It's called
The app.
the app. It's Shakespeare in Bits, Romeo and Juliet. Bear with me for 1 second. Sometimes, here we go. Okay. So does this look familiar to you all? You have it on your iPad, Tom? Okay. So this is that kind of crazy voice we heard the other day reading from the chorus. The first thing we're going to do, just to get us familiar with it again today, is listen to the voice read it and follow along in your iPad, on your iPad. It's only a minute.
Two households, both lacking dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to nudity, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured, piteous overthrows doth their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic on a stage, the which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our time shall strive to mend.
Okay. That's kind of a creepy voice, huh? All right, what we're going to do today is you're going to take that prologue and you're going to translate it, okay? Because some of the words are either words you don't know or words you know but you've never heard them used in the way they're being used up here. So each of you is going to take 2 lines of the prologue and you're going to translate it. So what you'll do, you take one and pass it. What you'll do, I want you guys to write on a separate sheet of paper, and for every line of prologue, I want you to write 2 complete sentences at least, okay, to explain what's going on for each line. So you can look up here, I've listed it on the board. So for every line of prologue, I want you to write at least 2 complete sentences on your piece of loose leaf that say what's going on. And then I want you to look up, so you might want to do this part before you write your sentences if you're kind of stumped. I want you to look up at least 1 word in each line of your prologue.
So you want us to pick one sentence of every, like, that thing, or?
Yeah, I'll show you exactly what you're assigned. So Riley, you're going to have the first 2 lines. So you'll have 2 households and then in. So those are your 2 lines. Dana, you've got the second 2 lines, from and where. Tom, you've got the next 2 lines, from and a pair. Zachary, you've got these lines right here. Who's misadventured? What you need? A pencil?
Yeah.
Okay. Blair, yours are right here, the fearful passage, and then the next one, and the continuance, and Connor, yours are the ones after that, which and is now. So for each line, so for example, we'll start with Riley's. So where Riley reads, two households, both alike in dignity, he's going to write two complete sentences that explain what that line means. So you're basically translating English to English, which is what you have to do sometimes with Shakespeare, okay? And so you might know, for example, Riley, what dignity means, or you might think you know, but it would help to look up that word in your dictionary on your iPad, and then you can get some kind of ideas of what they might be talking about, okay? Well, I'll get to that in a second. So let me just revisit what you want to have on your loose leaf paper in front of you when you're done. For every line of prologue, write at least two complete sentences. So each of you should have at least 4 sentences and 4 definitions on your loose leaf when you're done. Because you want to write 2 sentences for every line of prologue and define 1 word for every line of prologue, at least. You might want to define more than 1, depending on your understanding of it. And then we're going to share, okay? So we'll take about 15 minutes to do this, maybe 10 minutes, depending on how quick it goes. Okay. Let me get a little highlight real quick. Connor, I feel like you've got one of the hardest lines. And one reason is because you're up here, right? So 2 hours traffic of our stage. So you know what the word traffic means, but the way they're using it is very unusual.
Yeah.
So you want to think about what they could possibly mean, okay? And so first start with this line, and if when you get to that line you feel a little stumped, let me know, okay? So remember, when you rewrite, you want to use complete sentences, and you need to have at least 2 per line. Which lines are yours right here? I think yours are right here. This one, 2, 4, 6, yeah, these are your lines right here.
What does not mean?
That's a perfect one to look up.
And
Which one? How's it spelled? Not right there? Yeah, that's a perfect one to look up. So you can use your iPad dictionary,
okay.
or you can use that. I have 2 actual dictionaries on my desk if you want to use them. And then I'll show you guys a trick with your app in a second too. So this is those are kind of, any of those words would work to look up the definition and see exactly what they're meaning.
Yeah, 3 words
Yeah.
together.
This one too is kind of, for your definitions, you can actually tap on the word in your app. So like in the prologue, you could tap on not and highlight it, and it'll give you an alternative word for it, which is kind of handy as you guys are getting into this. I'll show you when it comes up here. So I'm going to just tap on not, and look, it changes to nothing. You see that?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So there might be a situation, like for star-crossed, it changes to fateful. If you don't know what fateful means, you might need to look that one up, okay? Bless you, Ryan.
Baranova is where this place is, like where this place takes place, right?
Exactly. It's the setting, it's the city where it takes place. Verona. Make sure you write the date too on your paper and your name, so we'll turn these in after. Good time. here too, so let me just look it over real quick.
This means two families are in another house, and one is in one house and one is in another, and both alike in the dignity, truth. The families have pride and respect in one another's family, like one and another, like in their personal family, not
Okay, so they both respect their families,
Yeah.
their own families very
not
much.
not
Okay.
each other.
Okay, you might want to clarify that a little bit. Because at first when you read it, it sounded like they have a lot of respect for each other. Dean, I feel like you have a hard one too.
It's only Montague respects Montague, and only Cassidy respects Cassidy.
That's good. And then what are you got for this one?
Fair and is where the story takes place in, is where the scene will take place.
Good.
That's where the scene lies.
Good, okay, period. And since you finished early, you can take mine. Those last two. Okay.
So,
Mhm.
so basically, it's not about, like,
Mhm.
against each other,
Mhm.
push other not to obey the rules,
Mhm.
and which there's like more work and kind of coming out, like, so what makes civil pains, so
Mhm.
you basically have like a war or like a fighting going on.
Yeah, okay. Keep going. It's okay, I didn't even mention.
I'm sorry?
What were you saying? They were,
Because they're like hating each other,
Mhm.
so there's kind of like having like fighting or something going on here, which is kind of like a big deal.
yes, exactly. So the rebellion comes from this word right here. And then, did you get a chance to look up? It looks like you got grudge. You looked at that. What about, why don't you take a look and look up
Like
ancient
Alongo.
Yeah.
Alongo.
and civil?
So
Okay.
I know what.
But what's cool about civil right here that you should look up is that they're using it in two different places, and it's probably
Different meaning.
exactly. That's part of cracking the code.
Alright.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say you were supposed to define a word from our?
Yeah, from each line. So these are your two lines right here. So, what do you think would be a good word for this first line?
Fable?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Did
You got a few, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, you could just, if you know what that means, what about loins? Do you know what that means? Why don't you look that one up since you have a little bit of an idea what fatal means, yeah. And then foes is always a good one to look up if you don't know, okay? And then right here, star-crossed, you'll have to either use your app or kind of make an assumption about that. Mhm.
So is this like the citizen was maybe the super pants at them?
Mhm.
Like the citizens?
You know what I thought was cool, yeah. So citizen, exactly, is one of the definitions, and another definition for civil is polite, which is really kind of a cool definition as well. So I think they might be saying, well, you tell me what you think they might be saying, and then we'll talk about it after, okay?
Oh, okay. So do you want me to write the definition for the first line there?
Yeah, that would be great. How's it going, Connor?
Yes.
It's okay? Where are you?
I think I finished.
Okay, let's see, we want to try to do 2 sentences per line, so, chosen and okay, you're right, where's your pencil, let me see. You're absolutely right. What do you think this means though? What does this mean? Okay, let's see if we can come up with a sentence that describes, because right now you've got only one sentence. We want to stretch it out, okay? So, children's end, Romeo and Juliet killed themselves at the end. You can make that one sentence if you want, because that's basically what's being said right there, okay? Not could remove. We know that means nothing now. nothing could remove that Romeo and Juliet killed themselves? What do you think that means?
Does that really make sense?
It doesn't make sense really the way it's written, but how could you rewrite it to make sense? That's a great interpretation. Nothing could stop them from doing what they did, right? So that could be our second sentence right in here. Okay. So just add another sentence right there that says that, what you just said. Nothing could stop them from doing what they did. And then we'll talk about that phrase in it afterwards. How's it going there? Good job. And then your 4 sentences? What about your words? Do you have those? Okay, I'll read back so you don't miss anything. Can you do the last 2? Okay, good. That means I won't have to do it. Let's just take about 2 more minutes and finish up, okay? Let me help you with this one. Okay, so you're exactly right. That is the play on stage, okay? That they're talking about the play on stage. What do you think they're trying to say about the play if they're saying it's traffic? You know, think about.
I don't know, did they have cars home?
They didn't.
So why do they leave traffic?
It's a good question. So one way you can find out is you can look it up. You can look up the definition for traffic, see if there's another definition that we don't know about, okay? And if there isn't, let's find out first if there is. If there isn't, then you have to kind of make an educated guess about what does traffic and a play possibly have in common, or could they have in common? Okay. Okay. All right, Riley, hang with me. We only have about another minute, and then you're going to start, okay?
Okay.
Okay. The commercial exchange of goods, the passage of persons, vehicles, or messages through routes of transportation or communication.
So, makes sense.
Yeah, so they could be using it as the word communication. 2 hours communication on our stage. So you've got that is the play on the stage. But what else do you know about the traffic nowadays?
Maybe don't like it,
Yeah, I don't feel like it.
but you sit there.
Yeah, it could take a long time. It could be crowded or congested or busy, do you think? Okay, write one more sentence that says something about the play. That is the play on the stage. Something like the play could be blank. Make some conclusion about this type of phrasing that you think it might mean. How you doing, Zachary?
Good.
You got a sentence or 2?
Mm-hmm.
You've got some tough words in there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, finish your thought or your sentence, Miss Dana.
Oh, no, I'm just here.
Okay. Riley, can you get us started?
The first one, two households both alike in dignity. I said, this means two families are in one another's house. They both live in one house and the other family lives in another. And then, and both alike in dignity, which both of the families have pride and respect in one another. So that means only Montague respects Montague, and only Capulet respects Capulet.
Okay.
And then, in favor.
Oh, were you about to? Oh, you're doing in fair Verona. Okay.
In fair Verona, where we lay our scene. It's fair. For Verona is where the story takes place, and it is where the scene takes place too.
Okay. Can you describe Verona based on that word fair?
It's probably a rich and wealthy city or town, or what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good guess. Do you know what the word fair means?
Just, I guess, no, but I didn't look it up, but it said fair efficiency. I'm not sure.
That's okay. Check it again, see what it says. I think it's interesting they picked that word fair because it can mean something like pretty or nice, like you're talking about the town being nice, or it can mean, what is the other meaning of fair?
Like
Even, exactly. So we've got these two houses, two families, and they want
standards, in accordance with the rules or standards.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimate. The group has, or should stand operate. I don't know which one would you pick? I don't know.
Let's see, we got in accordance with the rules or standards, just or appropriate in the circumstances, which is what you're talking about, Blair. Fair, even. Both of those sound good, either one. And then they've got another one that says light blonde complexion. Probably that one doesn't necessarily apply in this case. So, but you can see how he's kind of using one word to mean two different things, okay, in this example. Dana, read to us your lines and then your interpretation, because you definitely have one word meaning two things.
the Asian word break and need to mean worse. So word blood makes so what and unfriendly. I would say it's like the long ago, like unfriendly feelings from the two like family broke off by refusing and not obeying.
Okay, so read to me your two complete sentences for that line. From ancient grudge, break to new mutiny. How can you break that up into two complete sentences?
I say long ago, the unfriendly feeling from two family are causing cause a new since refusing or not obeying.
Mm-hmm. Like a rebellion, you had that word rebellion written earlier. So a long ago unhappy feeling between two families led to a rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it that way?
Yep. Wait, I'm sorry?
It sounded like you were saying something along the line. When you started to read your sentence, you said a long ago unhappy. Will you read it again?
Oh, like long ago, the unhappy feeling between two family
Mm-hmm.
led to the rebellion.
That sounds great.
Mm-hmm. And for the second sentence, I say where the citizen will make the polite.
Okay, good. So their rebellion, basically, or their feud, their arguments, and their pride, like you were talking about earlier, makes their citizen blood, their ordinary blood, and possibly polite demeanors, right, unclean. So things get ugly, basically. You can conclude, right? Okay, good job. What have you got, Tom? Read the lines of the prologue first, and then how you interpreted them.
Get from forth the fatal longings in these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their lives.
Good. What you got?
I interpreted two ways of, for the first one, from which these two enemies.
Okay, so what's your complete sentence for that first